Hello, 9th standard Cbse children. Have a good day. Have a nice day. I hope you are doing well, and I am sure you have written test also very well. And I hope you have revised video number 14 and 15 plus. Why do we fall in lesson? As I said, it was a lengthy chapter. You would have learned, right? And regarding why do we fall in lesson? You have to understand the concept. No need to mug up the whole lesson except a few brief answers. You should know the causative agent, symptoms, and then mode of transmission for all such diseases. Based on that, any diseases can be asked. Right? So you should have written the test well. And today we are going to do video number 16, a new chapter 14, natural resources part 1. Okay. Now this natural resources, as we know, anything on the earth which is to be utilized by the living things and also which are all available naturally as resources. For example, living things as plants, animals and microorganisms need to live. For that it needs food, it needs shelter, it needs reproduce. Living things nama padichirukomla, living things breathe, living thing reproduce, living thing respire, living thing move from place to place, and to for the living things to have life, there are some requirement as resources, and those resources which are required naturally and to be obtained as natural resources. So now 1 minute. As we know, this natural resources, our planet Earth is the only one on which life, as we know, it exists. Life on earth is dependent on many factors. Most life form we know need an ambient temperature, water and food. The resources available on the earth and the energy from the sun are necessary to meet the basic requirement of all life form. So this is for natural resources, where what we are seeing in this picture, we find front page, we find water with oil, forest ecosystem padichirukomla, that forest, and then rocks, mineral, soil, animal. Now this animal, as we know, living things with plants and animals and microbes, microorganisms. And soil, as we have learnt in 7th standard, it is oil is rich in nutrients with the minerals. Minerals now, as we know, micro and macronutrients. Macronutrients are required in very large quantities for the plants, and micronutrients required in very little quantity, like vitamins and minerals padichirukomla. And then forest, as I said now, it has to be maintaining its eco balance. Otherwise, ecosystem to be maintained in the forest. Right? Then rock, again, this rock can be made into simple smaller substances, and it can be broken down into pieces by a process called weathering. Weathering is of 3 types as physical weathering, chemical weathering and biological weathering. நம்ம படிச்சிருக்கோம், ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? இதுல 7th standard. And then as rocks, soil with the soil profile and layers of soil படிச்சிருக்கோம், ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? நம்ம ஸ்கூல்ல சுத்தி பில்டிங் கட்டறால அப்ப அந்த வானம் தோன்றது அந்த லேயர் தான் layers of soil profile, as we have learnt as O horizon, A horizon with the plant and topsoil, B and C horizon, and bottommost is the bedrock படிச்சிருக்கோம். அதுதான் rock with the soil profile and soil layers. So now we will continue the lesson. chapter 14 natural resources, video number 16. Right? Now what you are seeing now is the key concept as resources on earth, air, role of atmosphere in climate control, movement of air, that is wind, rain, air pollution, water, wonder liquid, water pollution, mineral rich in soil, and biogeochemical cycle. Under biogeochemical cycle, we are going to learn water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle with the greenhouse effect, global warming, oxygen cycle and ozone layer. Right? And today's session, video session, we will learn up to 9th key concept. Okay? In the next video, so we will continue the lesson again. First part, resources on earth. Resources on earth, we find 3 pictures here. First one, center biosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere. Sorry, atmosphere with the gases, hydrosphere water occupation, and lithosphere the outer crust of the earth. The outer crust of the earth is the lithosphere, and water on the earth is the hydrosphere. The layer of air around the earth is the atmosphere, and living organisms found where atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact. That forms the biosphere. The Venn diagram center so center biosphere, what is that? Living organisms are found where atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere interact, and those together constitute the biosphere. Right? Now see this figure, lithosphere earth, hydrosphere water and atmosphere air, biosphere all these. I hope you could follow this. Same way here, atmosphere, biosphere, lithosphere, hydrosphere. All these 3 figures are very good. You can understand easily. I hope you understand. So, resources on earth, what are we saying now? Natural resources of the earth are air, water, soil, mineral and living organisms. And the outer crust of the earth is the lithosphere. The water on the earth is the hydrosphere. And the layer around the earth is the atmosphere. The living organisms are found where atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and is the biosphere. ஒரு நிமிஷம் figure பாரு, இந்த 3 picture இதை பேஸ் பண்ணி I will ask questions. Right? இந்த மாதிரி பேஸ் பண்ணி இன்னொன்று நான் உனக்கு இன்ட்ரடக்ஷன்ல சொல்லணும். For this natural resources, you have to prepare an activity. In the chapter based on activity, the mark will be given to you. So, for art integration நமக்கு ஒரு activity இருக்கு. And the enrichment activity as we do earlier, same way this is also a type of enrichment activity. So you have to prepare a chart or flashcard or even this PowerPoint preparation. Adula first you have to prepare all these resources on earth, first as a whole on earth, and then in India what are the natural resources in Tamil Nadu, and we should always compare. நம்ம Cbse board நம்ம தமிழ்நாடையும் ஜம்மு காஷ்மீரோட இதையும் ஆட்டையும் கம்பேர் பண்ண சொல்லியிருக்கு. ஸோ அது மாதிரி ஜம்மு காஷ்மீரில் வாட் ஆர் த நேச்சுரல் ரிசோர்ஸ் அங்கே நிறைய இருக்கும், நன்னா இருக்கும். அதையும் யூ ஹாவ் டு ப்ரிப்பேர் மினிமம் 5 chart or pictures for Tamil Nadu and 5 for Jammu Kashmir. So that you get ready, right? அதில் first இதில் ஒரு picture போடும், right? So I say Outer crust of the earth is the lithosphere. Water on the earth is hydrosphere. Hydro referring to water. Layer of air around the earth, atmosphere. Living organisms are found where atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and is biosphere. I hope you could follow. Now next one, it is biosphere. The important natural resources available on earth are land, water and air. Enella, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere. Picture also depicting the same. Pictures are, the images are self-explanatory. Biosphere has hydrosphere, water, lithosphere, earth and atmosphere. Are it clear? The region on earth where the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and support life is called biosphere. What you have learnt in previous presentation, same, it is given in detail about biosphere alone. Right? Living organisms constitute the biotic component of the biosphere. Living organisms as plants, animals and microbes. Whereas abiotic as air, water, soil, temperature, wind are all abiotic component. And air is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Short answers air is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Are you clear? We'll go to next. Natural resources, as we know, it is the resources available in nature like air, water, sunlight, soil, mineral, forest, wildlife. And natural resources normally are two types as renewable and non-renewable natural resources. Geography la nee padichirpai recollect pannu. Renewable natural resources are the resources which can be replenished in short period of time like air, water, sunlight, forest. எது நமக்கு கிடைச்சுட்டே இருக்குமோ again and again கிடைச்சுட்டே இருக்குமோ அதெல்லாம் renewable natural resources. What are all? Air, water, sunlight, forest. Okay. Whereas non-renewable natural resources which cannot be replenished in a short period of time like mineral, coal, petroleum, natural gas, metals, because they take millions of years to be formed. Because coal and petroleum once we are using now, again it takes millions of years to form these coal, petroleum, natural gases again. So these are all non-renewable natural resources. Okay, human activities produce lot of waste material which are thrown away into the environment, and this causes pollution of natural resources like air and water pollution. I hope you could follow this. So in the presentation we are talking about natural resources, renewable and non-renewable resources. What are all renewable resources? Air, water, sunlight, forest. And non-renewable resources are coal, minerals like coal, petroleum, natural gas and metals. Because it takes, once they are used, then again it has to be formed. It takes millions of years. Are you clear? Next one, the breed of life. Air வேணும் நமக்கு. Breed of life. Air, the atmosphere, is a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor and other gases. And during respiration, living organisms use oxygen to break down glucose and get energy for their activities. It results in the release of carbon dioxide. Burning of fuel also use oxygen and release carbon dioxide. During photosynthesis, green plants convert carbon dioxide into glucose in presence of sunlight, and this results in the release of oxygen. I hope you remember, number 7th standard we have done in detail process of photosynthesis where water and carbon dioxide are the raw material, and chlorophyll and sunlight are the essential material. And what is the equation? 6CO2 plus 6H2O in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll will give C6H12O6 plus 6O2, and that oxygen is released as byproduct. I hope you understand. So during photosynthesis, green plants convert carbon dioxide into glucose in presence of sunlight, and that results in the release of oxygen. And this process helps to maintain oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in nature. And it is also said the oxygen evolved during photosynthesis can also be utilized by the plants for respiration. So as this oxygen evolved during photosynthesis, during daytime it is called photorespiration. Now see this images. First sunlight. இதெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறது பத்தியா, இது வந்து green plants. இந்த plant animal சாப்பிடுறது, அப்புறம் அது வந்து மறுபடியும் அந்த ரிலீஸ் ஆகுது. இதுதான் picture. Whereas see here, this is the gas that comprise earth atmosphere. Percentage of gases present in the air. அதில் nitrogen தான் usually நிறைய இருக்கும். Next வந்து oxygen. மீதி எல்லாம் smaller quantities. Right? So this is just understanding percentage of gases present in the atmosphere. Are you clear? So air, atmosphere, it is also said in our book, the breed of life as air. We already talked about composition of air. It is a mixture of many gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor. It is interesting to note that even composition of air is the result of life on earth. First chapter right? Next, eukaryotic cells and many prokaryotic cells. What you have learnt in cell structure need oxygen to break down glucose molecule and get energy for their activities. It results in the production of carbon dioxide. Okay, another process which results in the consumption of oxygen and the concomitant production of carbon dioxide is combustion. It includes human activity which burn fuels to get energy, but also the forest fire. Clear? So this is air, atmosphere as introductory part, and then role of atmosphere in climate control. Role of atmosphere in climate control, where we have activity as 14.1. This is the 14th chapter. Make the temperature of the following. First take a beaker full of water, another one a beaker full of soil, another one a closed bottle containing thermometer. Okay, now keep them in the bright sunlight for 3 hours. Now measure the temperature of all the 3 vessels. Enala 2 beaker, 1 water, 1 soil, 3 வந்து closed bottle. And also take the temperature reading in shade at the same time. I hope you could do this. So, இப்போ என்னலாம் நீ answer பண்ணணும்னா page 190 ல இருக்கு பாரு. That you have to answer. What? As a temperature reading more in activity. என்ன பண்ண போறே சொல்லு. Based on the above finding, which would become hot faster, the land or the sea. அது மாதிரி நீ வந்து வரிசையா ஆன்சர் பண்ணிக்கணும். Okay, so sand and water do not heat up at the same rate. இதுல sandum waterum answer வந்து sand and water do not heat up at the same rate. So you have to identify and understand which portion the temperature will be more in nature. Right? Okay, the next one, it is about wind. What is wind nu ketirukku? The horizontal movement of air from high pressure to low pressure. Again I say horizontal movement of air from high pressure to low pressure, and that is it is given high to low, H to L na high to low. The air moving up or down is called current. Air moving up or down, vertical move ஆகுது, it is called a current. I hope you understand. So இது வந்து நான் நெட்ல இருந்து எடுத்தேன். I don't know how far it is correct னு எனக்கு தெரியல, just understand பண்ணிக்கோ. Horizontal movement of air from high pressure to low pressure. சரியா? நம்ம புக்ல இன்னொரு ஆக்டிவிட்டி கொடுத்திருக்கு. What causes wind? இதுல பாரு, sunlight, cold wind, high pressure, low pressure. முந்தின ரெப்ரசன்டேஷனுக்கு கிளியரா சொல்லுது பாரு. இந்த clouds அப்புறம் high pressureக்கு கீழே cold high pressure, அதுல இருந்து low pressure வருது, இப்போ warm ஆகி மேல போறது. I hope you follow. So the movement of air from one region to another creates wind, and uneven heating of the Earth's surface, it causes wind. I repeat, the movement of air from one region to another creates wind. Okay, an uneven heating of the Earth's surface causes wind. On being heated, air becomes lighter and rises up. As a result, a region of low pressure is created. So இங்க வந்து low pressure வந்துடுது. So air from high pressure region move to low pressure region causing wind. அப்போ so இங்க வந்து இந்த வார்மா இருக்கிறதுனால இது low pressureனால இது மூவ் ஆயிடுது. So that results in இது சொல்லுவார், on being heated air becomes warmer, heat ஆகிறதுனால air becomes lighter and rises up. As a result, region of low pressure is created. இது warm ஆகி மேல போயிட்டே இருக்கிறதுனால இங்க low pressure form ஆயிட்டே இருக்கு. Then air from high pressure region moves to a low pressure region causing wind. I hope you could follow this. Then next one, the movement of air. இதெல்லாமே நமக்கு நெட்ல அவைலபிளா இருக்கு, நீ can refer பண்ணலாம். When air is heated by radiation from the heated land or water, it rises. But since land gets heated faster than water, நம்ம ஆக்டிவிட்டி படிச்சோம்ல, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன்னு வந்து வாட்டர் ஹீட் பண்றோம், இன்னொன்னு வந்து சாண்ட் ஹீட் பண்றோம்ல, அதுக்கெல்லாம் இது புரிஞ்சுக்கோ. But since land gets heated faster than water, air over land would also be heated faster than air over water bodies. So if you look at the situation in coastal region, during day, the air above the land gets heated faster and start rising. Sorry? So as this air rises, a region of low pressure is created and air above the sea moves into this area of low pressure. This movement of air from one region to other creates wind. So இதான் நம்ம பேஜ் 190ல இருக்கு. சரியா? 190, 91ல 190 and 191ல இந்த description, இந்த கான்செப்ட், இந்த ஃபிகர் கான்செப்ட் வந்து உனக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். Right? Next one, the movement of air, அதான் wind. When air gets heated, இதே repeat ஆயிருக்கு. When air gets heated, it rises up and produces low pressure and cools air moves into take its place. This movement of air causes wind. இதுல என்ன clear-ஆ இருப்பார், cool air கீழே இருக்கு, ஸோ அது வந்து வார்ம் இந்த செடி இருக்கிறதுனால லேண்டில் வார்ம் ஏர் வந்து மேலே போகுது. அப்போ இங்கே லோ ப்ரெஷர் வந்துடும். ஸோ இந்த ஹை ப்ரெஷர்லேருந்து லோ ப்ரெஷருக்கு மூவ் ஆகுது. ரைட். ஸோ டியூரிங் டே த லேண்ட் கெட்ஸ் ஹீட்டட் ஃபாஸ்டர். அதே தான் இன்னொரு ஸ்லைடுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். The heated faster than sea, so hot air above the land rises up and cool air from the sea moves towards the land. So during night, sea cools down slowly than the land. Sharia. So the hot air above the sea rises up and cool air from the land move towards the sea. The picture. புரிஞ்சுக்கோ, இது ரொம்ப ஈஸி. ஸோ வார்ம் ஏர் நைட் டைம்ல வார்ம் ஏர் மேலே போகிறது. டே டைம் இது வந்து டே டைம், இது நைட் டைம். I hope you understand. Right. The next one, cloud formation, rain. அடுத்த ஹெட்டிங் வந்து நமக்கு ரெயின். இப்போ மழை சீசன் தானே, we are experiencing good rain இல்லையா திருநெல்வேலியில். cloud formation என்ன சொல்றது, பிக்சர் இஸ் செல்ஃப் எக்ஸ்பிளனேட்டரி. பர் cloud கண்டென்சேஷன்ல cloud ஆறுது. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரெயின் லேண்டை ரீச் ஆகுது. And then it is heated up, water gets evaporated, more moisture that is forming, that is undergoing the process condensation that forms the cloud. Right. So this is cloud formation. இதெல்லாம் self explanatory. நான் இந்த picture கொடுத்து I may ask you to explain in your own sentences, so that you have to practice. Right. Next one, it is water cycle. Water cycle as evaporation and transpiration. Evaporation and transpiration. Condensation and precipitation. Absorption and percolation. I hope you could understand this. Water cycle, evaporation and transpiration, condensation and precipitation, absorption and percolation. Okay. Now this figure again, rainwater reaching the land, flowing. அதுக்கு வந்து சிலதெல்லாம் கிரவுண்ட் வாட்டர் லெவல் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகுது, சிலது அப்சார்ப் ஆகுது. அப்புறம் வந்து பெர்குலேஷன் ரேட் கூடவா குறைவாங்கிறத பார்க்கறது. And then evaporation from sea as usual, water vapor, condensation, cloud formation, and then reaching the making it a cloud. Transpiration from plants also, it becomes evaporated and forms the moisture and the cloud. I hope you understand this. So this is water cycle. The next one, as rain again. Water vapor. நல்ல பாரு, water vapor வந்து மேலே reach ஆகி cloud ஆகுது. So water bodies get heated up during day and evaporate into the air. As water rises, it cools. This causes the vapor to condense into tiny water droplets which fall down as rain. I hope this picture is clear. இதெல்லாம் செல்ஃப் எக்ஸ்பிளனேட்டரி. நீ இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கூட படிச்சு பார்த்தேன்னா புரிஞ்சிடும். And that is for rain. Okay. The next one, air pollution. நான் வந்து இதில் பிக்சர் மட்டும்தான் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். Where you have to, நம்ம நிறைய பொல்யூஷன் பற்றி படிச்சிருக்கோம். Where you can do it. ஏர் பொல்யூஷன் இதில் வந்து இண்டஸ்ட்ரி தான் இருக்கு. ஏர் பொல்யூஷன்ல இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் இருக்கு. அடுத்தது நம்ம டெக்ஸ்ட் புக்கில் உள்ளது பேஜ் நம்பர் 192. The fossil fuel like coal and petroleum contain small amount of nitrogen and sulfur. When these fuels are burnt, nitrogen and sulfur too are burnt, and this produces different oxides of nitrogen and sulfur. Not only is the inhalation of these gases dangerous, they also dissolve rain to form the acid rain. Acid rain on picture tara vittite adha paathuko. So the combustion of fossil fuel also increases the amount of suspended particles in air. and these suspended particles could be unburnt carbon particle or substances called hydrocarbon. சரியா? ஸோ இது வந்து இந்த கான்செப்ட் பேஜ் 192ல உள்ளது. நீ வந்து பேராகிராஃப் கோ த்ரூ பண்ணு. ஏர் பொல்யூஷன். The next one, அதே தான் இப்போ மறுபடியும் சொல்றேன். The fossil fuel like coal and petroleum contain small amount of nitrogen and sulfur. When these fuels are burnt, nitrogen and sulfur too are burnt, and this produces different oxides of nitrogen and sulfur. And when these gases are inhaled, it becomes dangerous and also dissolve in rain to become acid rain. Okay, and the suspended particle, it may be termed as hydrocarbon. And presence of high level of all these pollutants cause visibility to be lowered, especially in cold weather. Delhi la main பாக்குறோம்ல இது pollution, especially air pollution Delhi city ல இருக்குல்ல, mainly due to this. ஏன்னா டெல்லியில வந்து டெல்லி ரிஃபைனரியும் அந்த வெஹிக்கிள்ஸ் நிறைய இருக்கும் அங்க, அதனால ஏர் பொல்யூஷன் வந்து ரொம்ப ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கு. நெக்ஸ்ட் ஒன், அகெயின் ஏர் பொல்யூஷன் தான். இட் இஸ் என்ன சொல்ல, ஃப்ளோ சார்ட் ரெப்ரசன்டேஷன். அது வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கேசஸ், டாக்ஸிக் கேஸ், கார்பன் டை ஆக்சைடு, நைட்ரஜன் டை ஆக்சைடு, சல்பர் டை ஆக்சைடு, கார்பன் மோனாக்சைடு, ஓசோன், அது கூட பார்ட்டிகிள்ஸ்ல மெயினா லெட், black carbon மெயினா உள்ளது. That is for air pollution. Okay, the next one, environmental pollution. Not only air pollution, normally if natural resources are disturbed, the living thing should suffer from environmental pollution. What are the types of environmental pollution? As air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution. That voice or sound னு கொடுத்திருக்கு. Noise pollution, thermal pollution and radioactive pollution. இப்போ நம்ம what is given in our textbook is about air pollution and water pollution, right? And soil pollution na நம்ம again 7th standardல படிச்சோம்ல, soil erosion and soil pollution due to என்ன சொல்றது, industrial or factories or any other human activities causing soil pollution. Okay, the next one, again water cycle. அது கொஞ்சம் ரிப்பீட் ஆயிருக்கு, பார்த்துக்கோ. ஏன்னா water bodies are main playing an important role. Hydrosphere. When water bodies are heated during day, large amount of water evaporates and rises up. Some of the water also get into the atmosphere due to biological activities like transpiration and respiration. Transpiration and evaporation of excess water by the green plants, and respiration taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Then as the water vapor rises, it cools down and condenses to form tiny droplets of water, and this appears as clouds. When tiny droplets of water join together to form bigger drops of water, they fall down as rain, snow. Adena konjam different description but self-explanatory. You can follow this. Next one, water, a wonder liquid. Bookla irukku namakku. As water occupies a large area of Earth's surface and is also found underground. Some amount of water exists in the form of water vapor of the atmosphere, and most of the water on Earth's surface is found in the seas and ocean and is saline. Saline salty in nature. And fresh water is found frozen in the ice cap at the two poles and on snow-covered mountains. The underground water and the water in the river, lake and pond, there are freshwater forms. Same time, availability of fresh water varies from place to place. Normally, city kulala the water scarcity is quite common. Practically every summer most places have to face shortage of water, and in rural area water supply system have not been installed. People are forced to spend considerable amount of time to fetch water moving from faraway places. நம்ம ரொம்ப இந்த கிராமத்துல எல்லாம் ரொம்ப தள்ளி போய் குளத்துல தண்ணி எடுத்துட்டு வருவாங்க. அதான் இந்த description. I hope you could follow this. The next one is water pollution. Effect of water pollution என்ன சொல்றதுன்னா algal bloom. Algal bloom னா நம்ம பொதுவா அந்த கோவில் குளத்துல எல்லாம் தண்ணி அப்படியே பச்சை கலர்ல பாசி இருக்கும்ல, that is algal bloom. When there is overgrowth of this lower organism algae, it forms a algal bloom. As a result, there is deficient supply of other nutrients to other plants and animals living in the water. That process actually insufficient supply க்கு பேரு eutrophication னு படிப்போம். The heading, under the heading for algal bloom we have learnt as eutrophication, right? Then turbidity, biological oxygen demand, disease transmission, unpleasant odor and siltation. சரியா? And as a result of this, biological magnification of DDT, dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane, is seen in aquatic food chain. Food chain என்ன படிச்சிருக்கோம்? Producers, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer. இல்லையா? It is especially aquatic formula it is affecting. The concentration of DDT gradually increases at each trophic level. Trophic level na producers to primary consumer, அது வந்து ஒரு trophic level. Then to secondary consumer. அந்த மாதிரி different energy pass பண்ற level energy is passed on. So DDT inhibits calcium carbonate deposition in the oviduct of certain birds, which result in laying of thin shelled eggs. And the effect of harmful effect of biological magnification. Okay. The next one, it is mineral riches in soil. Enala mineral par carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. These are all macronutrients. They are from air, water and soil. They have the sources as air, water and soil. Whereas phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, boron, zinc, copper, manganese, iron, chloride, molybdenum. These are all micronutrients. And they are also taken as a source from soil or some fertilizers, manure and fertilizers படிக்கிறோம்ல, அதில இருந்தும் இதெல்லாம் கொடுப்பா. The letter what is given in the bracket is the chemical symbol. I hope you know this, right? Now then this next picture, the image, root hair along the carbon dioxide and water அது சேர்ந்து bicarbonate ஆகுது. அப்புறம் அதிலிருந்து உள்ள hydrogen ion it is taken. Soil உள்ள clay it contains calcium, potassium, magnesium. இதெல்லாம் symbols எல்லாம் name படிச்சுக்கோ. Calcium, potassium, magnesium, hydrogen ion அதெல்லாம் clay soil இருக்கு. That is taken up by the root system. I hope you could follow this. கொஞ்சம் பொறுமையா இந்த slide pass பண்ணி understand பண்ணுங்க. If you are not able to follow na அந்த particular presentation pass போட்டு go through பண்ணு. Are you clear? The next one, it is mineral salts again. Last is it salts of potassium, iron, phosphate, magnesium and nitrates are present in solution form as soil solution, soil water like. And these salts are taken up as ion by the root system and is needed for the cell. So in the soil solution when plant is watered, அப்ப அந்த water வந்து தண்ணில soil குள்ள போறது, it becomes the soil solution. So these minerals, they are taken up from the soil solution. Okay, the next one, again this is also a type of sources of minerals as calcium, withered bedrock, நம்ம first படிச்சோம் இல்லையா, withered bedrock, nitrogen, அது organic matter, and then decomposition of these plants, then as a result of respiration carbon dioxide is taken. So in the figure வந்து per second go through பண்ண next figure. I hope you could follow this. So இது வந்து general topic, நம்ம bookல உள்ள repeating 9th and 10th க்கு from the textbookல வந்து concept மட்டும் புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். Based on that any type of minerals can be questioned. Okay, so now so far what you have learned is life on earth depends on resources like soil, water and air, and energy from the sun. An uneven heating of air over land and water bodies causes wind, and evaporation of water from water bodies and subsequent condensation give us rain. Rainfall patterns depend on the prevailing wind patterns in an area, and various nutrients are used again and again in a cyclic pattern. Edella, macro and micro. This leads to certain balance between various components of the biosphere, and pollution of air, water and soil affect the quality of life and biodiversity. Biodiversity is getting harmful effect. So we need to conserve our natural resources and use them in sustainable manner. I hope you are able to follow this. Chariya? So this is you could understand this. So this we have covered natural resources as part 1. Are you clear? So we will continue in the next video session. 1 minute. We will just continue in the next video session.